Kindness is a beautiful trait. It is the ability to extend warmth, understanding, and generosity to others. It is what makes relationships meaningful and communities strong. But kindness, when given without boundaries, can become a tool for our own downfall, especially when dealing with narcissists. Many of us were raised to believe that kindness is the ultimate virtue. We are told that if we are just patient enough, just understanding enough, and just loving enough, we can bring out the best in people. We believe that if we keep giving, keep explaining, keep showing up, the person in front of us will eventually soften, change, or meet us halfway. And with most people, this works. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect, reciprocity, and genuine care. But with a narcissist, kindness is not seen as a strength, it is seen as an opportunity. A narcissist does not interpret kindness the way a healthy person does. Where a reasonable person sees kindness as an invitation for connection, a narcissist sees it as permission to manipulate. The more understanding you are, the more they push the limits. The more patience you offer, the more they take advantage. Your kindness is not a bridge for healing, it is a tool they use to maintain control. We often think that by being kind, we can change the way a narcissist treats us. We tell ourselves, if I am more compassionate, maybe they will see their mistakes. If I am more patient, maybe they will stop hurting me. If I explain myself better, maybe they will finally understand. But what we fail to realize is that the narcissist isn't misunderstanding us. They understand perfectly. They know exactly what they are doing, and they are using our kindness to keep us in a cycle of emotional exhaustion. A narcissist thrives on control, and they achieve this by testing boundaries. They push a little further each time, watching to see if we will bend, and if we do, they push even further. They use charm when they need to, apologies when they must, and manipulation as their most powerful tool. And when we, out of kindness, forgive them, excuse their behavior, or let things slide, we unknowingly reinforce their power over us. This is where boundaries become crucial. Because true kindness is not about allowing mistreatment. True kindness is about recognizing when to say no, when to step back, when to protect ourselves. It is about understanding that our worth is not dependent on how much we can endure for someone else's sake. Healthy relationships require mutual effort, they require respect, they require accountability. A narcissist does not offer these things in return. So when we continue to show kindness without limits, we are not creating connection, we are allowing ourselves to be drained. Let's be clear, setting boundaries is not unkind. Walking away from someone who refuses to respect you is not cruel. Protecting your emotional well-being is not selfish. It is necessary, and when we learn to separate true kindness from self-sacrifice, we reclaim our power. It is okay to care about people. It is okay to want to see the good in others, but it is not okay to lose yourself in the process. We must remind ourselves that kindness is not about pleasing others at our own expense. It is about knowing when to extend a hand and when to walk away. And when we learn that distinction, we step into a life where kindness is no longer a weakness, it becomes our greatest strength. Narcissists operate in patterns. Their behavior is not random, nor is it simply a personality quirk. It is a calculated cycle, a repeating sequence that keeps their victims emotionally dependent, confused, and drained. Understanding this cycle is the key to breaking free from their control. It starts with idealization. This is where a narcissist makes you feel special, wanted, and deeply valued. They might shower you with praise, affection, or attention, making you feel as if you are the most important person in their world. If the relationship is romantic, they might call it love at first sight, or talk about how you are different from anyone they've ever met. If it's a friendship or workplace dynamic, they might go out of their way to compliment you, making you believe that you have a strong bond. This phase is intoxicating. It makes you feel safe, understood, and deeply connected. But it is not genuine. It is a setup. Once the narcissist feels secure that you're emotionally invested, the next phase begins, devaluation. This is where the emotional shifts begin. The person who once praised you now starts criticizing you. The one who made you feel loved and cherished now makes you feel inadequate. It doesn't happen all at once. It starts subtly, perhaps with a dismissive comment, an offhand remark that makes you second guess yourself. Over time, these small insults and criticisms escalate. They might make you feel like you are too sensitive, too needy, or not good enough. They might withhold affection, ignore you, or create situations that leave you feeling confused and anxious. This phase is designed to break down your confidence and make you question your reality. During devaluation, the narcissist also introduces another tool, gaslighting. This is when they deny things they've said or done, making you feel like you are imagining things. You might bring up a hurtful comment they made only for them to say, that never happened. or you might express your feelings only to be told that you are overreacting or being dramatic. Over time, this makes you doubt your own judgment. It makes you dependent on them to define reality, because every time you trust your instincts, they twist the truth. By now, you are emotionally exhausted, confused, and desperate to return to the love and affection they once gave you. And just when you think they might leave you for good, the final phase begins: discard. In this stage, the narcissist withdraws completely. They might leave without explanation, ghosting you, or they might suddenly turn cold and indifferent. This is meant to punish you for not meeting their impossible standards and to make you feel abandoned. And if you try to walk away first, they will guilt trip you, play the victim, or act as if you are the problem. What makes this cycle so damaging is that it doesn't always end at discard. If the narcissist still sees value in keeping you around, they will restart the process. After ignoring you or disappearing, they might suddenly reappear with affection again, making you believe they have changed. This is called hoovering, a tactic used to pull you back into the cycle. Breaking free requires understanding that this pattern is intentional. It is not something you caused, nor is it something you can fix with kindness, patience, or love. The only way to escape is to recognize this cycle for what it is: a manipulation strategy designed to keep you stuck. Once you see the pattern, you can take back your power. You can stop looking for the version of them that once adored you, because that person never truly existed. You can set boundaries, walk away, and reclaim your sense of self. Because the truth is, the only way to win against a narcissist is to refuse to play their game. There's a belief many of us hold deep within that if we are just good enough, kind enough, or understanding enough, we can make difficult relationships work. We tell ourselves that if we give more, love harder, or compromise just a little further, things will get better. But when it comes to dealing with a narcissist, over-accommodation is not a strategy, it's a trap. Narcissists thrive on taking. They do not see relationships as partnerships, but as opportunities to fulfill their own needs. In their world, the more you give, the more they will take, and they will never reach a point where they feel satisfied. When we accommodate a narcissist's behavior, whether it's ignoring red flags, excusing their emotional manipulation, or constantly trying to meet their impossible expectations, we are not fostering peace. We are slowly losing ourselves. It often starts with small sacrifices. Maybe you let them have the final say in decisions to avoid conflict. Maybe you ignore the way they belittle you because you don't want to start an argument. Over time, these small concessions add up, and before you realize it, you have shaped yourself into someone who exists to keep them happy, while your own needs and identity fade into the background. One of the greatest dangers of over-accommodation is that it teaches the narcissist that there are no consequences for their behavior. When they manipulate, gaslight, or disrespect you, and you continue to forgive or justify their actions, you unknowingly reinforce their sense of entitlement. They begin to expect your endless patience, your unwavering support, and your willingness to endure their emotional abuse. To them, your kindness is not a sign of love or strength. It is proof that they can control you. And what is the cost of this? It is exhaustion. It is the slow erosion of your confidence and self-worth. It is the constant anxiety of trying to anticipate their moods, their reactions, their shifting demands. You might find yourself walking on eggshells, filtering your words, and questioning whether you are too much or not enough, all because the narcissist has conditioned you to believe that their needs matter more than yours. But here is the truth. No amount of giving will ever fill the void inside a narcissist. You cannot love them enough to make them whole. You cannot be kind enough to make them kind in return. The more you accommodate, the more they will demand, and the more depleted you will become. Breaking this cycle requires a shift in mindset. It requires understanding that love is not measured by how much pain you are willing to endure. It requires recognizing that self-sacrifice is not a requirement for acceptance. And most importantly, it requires the courage to prioritize your own well-being over the illusion of keeping the peace. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it is necessary. Saying no is not cruel, it is an act of self-respect. And choosing to walk away from a relationship that only takes from you is not failure, it is liberation. The cost of over-accommodation is far too high. It is not just about losing time or energy, it is about losing yourself. And you deserve better. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, understanding, and care. You deserve to be seen, heard, and valued, not just when it is convenient for someone else, but always. So the next time you feel tempted to overextend yourself, to bend just a little further to keep the narcissist happy, ask yourself this: at what cost? Because true kindness is not about sacrificing yourself for someone who will never appreciate it. True kindness starts with you. It starts with knowing your worth and refusing to hand it over to someone who will never cherish it the way you deserve. Narcissists are experts in emotional manipulation, and one of their most damaging tools is shame. They use it not just as a weapon, but as a means of control, making you feel as if you are the problem in the relationship. This is where gaslighting comes in, a tactic designed to distort your sense of reality, leaving you doubting your own experiences, feelings, and perceptions. Understanding these manipulative techniques is crucial to reclaiming your emotional stability and well-being. The first weapon in a narcissist's arsenal is shame. They will often project their own insecurities and flaws onto you, making you feel responsible for their negative emotions, failures, or shortcomings. They will accuse you of being too sensitive, too demanding, or too emotional, even when their behavior is the clear cause of the problem. The narcissist will use shame to make you feel like you are never enough, that you are the source of all the tension and problems in the relationship. Over time, this constant barrage of guilt and self-blame can lead to a deep sense of unworthiness and self-doubt. You start to believe their narrative that you are flawed or that you are somehow the one who isn't trying hard enough. But shame is not the only tool they use to manipulate. They also employ gaslighting, which is a psychological tactic that seeks to make you question your perception of reality. Narcissists will twist facts, deny things they've said or done, and even accuse you of remembering things incorrectly. For instance, they might tell you that something didn't happen the way you recall, or that you're overreacting to their behavior, making you feel like you're the one who is unstable. Gaslighting can be incredibly subtle. It might begin with small denials or slight shifts in the truth, but over time, it escalates until you start doubting your memory, your instincts, and your understanding of what's real. The gaslighting works in tandem with their use of shame. The narcissist creates a false reality where their actions are justified and your feelings are exaggerated or invalid. They might even go so far as to tell you that you're the one who is manipulating them, which flips the narrative entirely and makes you feel guilty for confronting them. As a result, you are left feeling constantly confused, off balance, and unsure of your own emotional responses. This is exactly what the narcissist wants. They thrive on your uncertainty because it gives them the power to control the relationship. The emotional toll of living in this environment is immense. Over time, you begin to feel like you are losing your sense of self. Your confidence erodes, your emotional responses become more muted, and your ability to trust your own judgment is compromised. The narcissist's gaslighting makes you second-guess everything, including your own worth. You may find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do or trying to prove your innocence or good intentions over and over again. The constant emotional turmoil is exhausting and demoralizing. To break free from this, you must learn to trust yourself again. You need to recognize that the shame they impose and the gaslighting they use are not a reflection of your reality. They are manipulations designed to keep you under their control. One of the first steps to healing is to start listening to your inner voice, even when the narcissist tries to convince you that it is wrong. Trusting your instincts is an act of radical self-preservation. Setting boundaries is a powerful way to reclaim your emotional strength. When you start to assert your needs and stand firm in the face of manipulation, you create space for your true self to emerge. It is important to understand that when a narcissist tries to shame you or gaslight you, they are not attacking your true self. They are attacking the version of you they want to control. Your worth does not depend on their approval, and you have the right to define your reality. Breaking free from the emotional warfare of shame and gaslighting is not easy, but it is necessary for your emotional health. You must learn to disengage from their manipulation, set clear boundaries, and prioritize your well-being. Recognizing their tactics for what they are is the first step in reclaiming your power. By trusting yourself, asserting your boundaries, and refusing to accept their distorted version of reality, you can begin to heal and rebuild a sense of self that is grounded in truth and self-respect. Walking away from a narcissist is often seen as an act of great strength, not weakness. Yet, many people who find themselves in relationships with narcissists hesitate to leave, largely because they've been conditioned to believe that doing so would be unkind or unfair. We are socialized to think that leaving someone, especially when they've manipulated us, belittled us, or taken advantage of our kindness, is a failure, a sign of giving up. But the truth is, walking away from a narcissist is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect you can ever make. Choosing self-respect over fear is crucial for reclaiming your life and emotional well-being. Narcissists thrive on fear, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough, fear of the unknown. They instill a sense of insecurity in you, making you feel like you cannot survive without them or that you will be alone forever if you leave. They use these fears to control and manipulate when you choose to leave. You are rejecting their control over you and choosing to honor your worth, your voice, and your needs. It is easy to get trapped in the cycle of fear, guilt, and self-doubt. You might find yourself constantly questioning whether you are being unfair, whether you've tried enough, or whether they can truly change. The narcissist will often play on this, using guilt and emotional manipulation to make you feel like you are the problem. They may accuse you of being selfish, ungrateful, or incapable of understanding them, but this is a tactic designed to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel responsible for their actions and behavior. The reality is, you are not responsible for their emotional state. Their behavior is theirs alone to own. The fear of walking away is real. Many people hesitate because they worry about the aftermath, about what others will think, about the loneliness they might face, or about how to rebuild their lives without the narcissist. But staying in the relationship is not a solution. It is a form of self-sabotage. Every day spent in a toxic dynamic with a narcissist is a day you lose to emotional exhaustion, confusion, and self-doubt. The more you stay, the more you reinforce the narrative that you are not worthy of better, that you should tolerate mistreatment, and that your needs don't matter. Leaving a narcissist is not unkind. It is a necessary act of self-preservation. It is about honoring yourself and your emotional health above all else. You are not abandoning them out of cruelty. You are walking away because you deserve more than a life filled with emotional manipulation, belittlement, and control. Choosing yourself is an act of courage. It is saying, I am worthy of love and respect, and I will not settle for anything less. It's also important to understand that leaving a narcissist doesn't mean you are closing the door on compassion or kindness altogether. You are not saying that people who struggle with narcissism cannot be helped or understood. Rather, you are recognizing that their behavior is beyond your capacity to fix or change. You cannot rescue them. That responsibility does not fall on your shoulders. Their emotional growth is something only they can take on, and until they are ready to do so, you are not obligated to stay in a relationship that damages you. Choosing self-respect over fear is also about reclaiming your power. The narcissist has taken control over your emotions, your thoughts, and your behaviors for far too long. Leaving is the first step in taking back that power. It is about remembering who you are, reconnecting with your values, and starting a new chapter where you are in charge of your life. You are allowed to seek peace, to find joy, and to surround yourself with people who truly see and appreciate you. When you walk away, you are not walking away from love, you are walking toward it. True love, real connections, and healthy relationships exist on the other side of the narcissist manipulation. The journey may be difficult and there may be moments of doubt and grief, but you will emerge stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your true self. You will rebuild your sense of self-worth, and you will learn to trust yourself again. Choosing self-respect over fear is about giving yourself permission to live authentically. It is about breaking free from the chains of emotional manipulation and setting boundaries that protect your peace. By walking away, you are not abandoning anyone. You are returning to the most important relationship of all, the one you have with yourself.